So when we come to lights out, the first couple of laps of the race were just full of drama and action, and I couldn't even I usually sort of make my notes as I'm watching the race, and I'm there like this furiously typing away as it's going on. So much going on in those first few laps. It was absolute madness. I suppose the most shocking thing is that going into turn 1, there's a tiny little bit of rain that starts coming down. It's not enough. It's not loads, but it's enough to make the track a little bit slippy, especially with the cars that are on the inside of the track and that have the mediums on. They seem to suffer the most because they're just not warming up. And on the inside of the track, it's quite dusty and dirty.
So not all to mention the slope.
Yeah,
the slope going down into turn 1. The undulation of this track is mad. So
it's fantastic, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. It is great. It's like a roller coaster. I was so happy. On a different point, I watched FP1 and they did not do one whole onboard lap of any car doing it, and I was furious. I was like, we've just had the most up and down track we've ever raced on in Formula 1, and there's no onboard footage of it. I had to wait till FP2 at the last minute of FP2 to get a full lap with the Mercedes, and I was like, this track literally goes up and down 6 or 7 times, and it's by a great distance as well. But that certainly makes turn 1 interesting. Like you said, it was a little bit wet, dirty on the outside, and it was off a pretty steep slope going into turn 1.
And lots of cars struggling going into this, and others able to take advantage. Most notably, both the Mercedes were having a bit of a slide about. Bottas did very briefly take the lead. But, of course, the thing that I couldn't help but focus on the most was, of course, both McLarens rocketing up the grid. And at one point, going into lap 2, Sainz actually took the lead. And McLaren took the lead on track, on merit.
Yep.
And then he went on to set the fastest lap after that as well. So
it was a good thing to see. And for a good couple of laps, they were running, Mercedes 1, McLaren 2, Mercedes 3, McLaren 4. I thought, blimey, is this a glimpse of the future? Can you imagine if this happened next year? I was like, yes, this is what we want. People fighting for the win. And it was because the track offered up so many opportunities. There was overtaking, there was late braking, there was dive bombs, there was lockups. Lap 1 had it all, honestly. Just carry on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I'm just very passionate about this lap 1.
It was a fantastic first few laps, and the drama continued as Verstappen and Perez had something of a tangle going. Now this one's kind of hard to call. The steward said it was a racing incident. I think that's probably right.
I think that's fair.
Perez was maybe a little bit greedy with the track. I think he could have left a little bit more space, but Verstappen was also coming in very tight. He got on the accelerator very quickly because he had went quite wide. Bottas had kind of pushed him to the curb, and he sped up as quickly as he could. Yeah, difficult to call that one. Unfortunate for Perez, but he definitely could have left a tiny bit more room in order to be careful. But yeah, in those opening stages with minimal grip, difficult to call. Leclerc was really struggling on the opening lap. Both Red Bulls were in a bit of trouble. But we couldn't possibly mention the first lap without talking about Kimi Räikkönen and showing his real car control and his experience, somehow getting it up to 6th at one point from 16th on the grid.
Unbelievable racing. Like when we finally got that onboard footage after the race and had the official footage, it just looks like he's racing in a different league compared to everyone else. If you've ever raced on the F1 game, it looks like he's put the AI on 0% difficulty and he's in a Mercedes and he's just driving around the outside of everyone, braking 10, 20 meters later than everyone else, making the corners, going around the outside of a Ferrari. I'm sorry, what happened? This is incredible stuff. And even he said at the end of the race, don't know what everyone else was doing. It was fine. It was a decent track to drive. And I was like, everyone else was struggling, noticeably, like you said. If you're on the medium tire, you did have some warm-up issues. Kimi on the softs smashed it. Absolutely smashed it. Like P6 by the end of lap 1, and he started 16th, did you say?
Yeah.
Blimey. That's incredible. Up 10 positions. That's just amazing.
I mean, I know that I've expressed my lack of fandom for Kimi Räikkönen. I think he's a fantastic driver and he's been in the sport a long time for a reason. But yeah, I will be a little bit disappointed if he's still in that Alfa Romeo next season. I would rather see when someone says that the sport is their hobby. That's time to, that's time to go and do something else, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, all credit to him. He showed his experience on this first lap, had the traction, understood where the grip was really well, and yeah, made it look very easy indeed.